It's Craig Revel-Horwood.
A complete dance disaster, darling.
Revel-Horwood, everyone. It's our favourite. It's our favourite. Oh, we've missed you. I tell you, we're 6 weeks in. Have our celebrities reached the standard that you would have hoped for at this point?
There's a lot of surprises, a lot of high markers out there, but also a lot of improvement, which is great, and early on improvement as well. We noticed from week 3, I think, that some people were really developing proper skills, which is just an absolute joy and a delight to watch.
Oh, hurrah! Now, Simon and Karen obviously fell victim to Halloween weekend, but they were joined in the bottom 2 by Molly and AJ. Now, were you surprised?
Yeah, I really was, because she's been doing really, really well. And I was surprised because this was actually quite a good routine for her. You know, she looks amazing, a great costume, and actually she did rather well in the whole thing. And it's really difficult, isn't it? I think, well, certainly from the judging perspective, when you've got someone that is fantastic or you think is really motoring on in the competition and they end up in the bottom 2, like David, of course.
Yes.
You know, that was a shocker as well. But obviously, you know, the thing is, you've got to have the audience votes. You know, that's the most important thing.
They've got to be behind you.
Yeah.
And also, sometimes I think it's quite good because everyone says, oh, hang on, you've got to vote. You've got to vote for your favourites. Now, Molly was dancing the cha-cha-cha and then went into the bottom 2. Johnny danced it as well. It does appear that the cha-cha-cha is the dance that is, you know, getting everyone into trouble this year. Why is it such a tricky one?
It's because it's difficult, because there's a straight leg, there's hip action, which is really, really difficult, especially for the men, because they're not used to moving their hips in that way. You know, they're used to moving them to side or forward and back, but never really in circles.
In a circular way.
Or in, with proper hip action.
Thank you.
That's nice, but it is difficult. It is difficult. Yeah. And plus, it can look, if you do too much hip action, it'll look too girly on the man. So you've got to be aware of that to make it look butch, but correct. And it is a really tough one because it's fast as well, actually. I mean, if you think of a rumba and then double the tempo of a rumba, that's sort of what you're expected
to do. I know, it's so complicated. Now, Susan also she felt the burn this weekend, I would say. You fanned the flames and gave her a 3, you old meanie. Now, tell me more about this. Kevin was saying that they weren't going for graceful with this foxtrot because of the theme. Can you appreciate how Kevin was trying to marry a dance to a theme?
Yes, I can, if he does that at the beginning of the dance and at the end of the dance. And then maybe 10 seconds, if you like, in between it, you can go a little bit mad and tell story and do something out of character. But it's our job to recognise that particular dance for what it is and to uphold the characteristics of that dance. I appreciate it and I love him for trying to take it a little bit over the edge, but unfortunately for me, it didn't work. I love the routine, I love what he was trying to do, but I have to really mark it on the specific dance that they're meant to be doing. So that's why it was difficult for me. Sometimes it works out well, like in Aston's case, for instance, but you know, I would say continue being brave.
OK, all right, let's talk about Aston now. Why didn't he get a 10? I thought he was brilliant.
Get a 10.
Yeah, sorry, I'm not a judge, obviously.
I thought there was just a little bit too much of the pop and lock stuff. That's the only reason. He is amazing. You know, I would love to give that a 10. I would love to. And, you know, if he gets to the final, maybe if he takes 2 of those little sections out and replaces them with something else, then I might...
Oh, you little tease! He's such a tease. Let's move on to David now and the rumba. Now, you gave this a 5, yet you said you could go home and watch them dancing all day.
Yeah.
Why?
Because I thought it was a really lovely, strong routine. It didn't fall into the rumba category for me. There weren't enough basic rumba steps, and that's what we need to see. Even if you had just littered a few more of the basics, as Shirley said, the cucarachas, for instance, which show your leg going out to the side and show that you're actually manoeuvring your hips in the correct way. We never really saw that. We saw a performance, which was wonderful, but as a judge, sadly, I can't just base it on entertainment. That's for the folks at home who can say, well, I really loved it. So you know.
Or me. Yeah.
I mean, I did love it, and I take it home and watch it again and again and again. But for me, it wasn't a solid one.
He needed some more basic info. OK, here's a fact for you. The rumba is the only main Strictly dance that has never scored a full mark. Rachel Stevens, Cara Toynton, Chelsea Healy and Jay McGuinness all did pretty well, 39 points.
Yeah.
Could it ever get a 40? Do you think with a celebrity dancing it? Could this be the year?
If they started learning it in week 1 and then get to keep going and doing it for like 10 weeks, yes, probably. It's the hardest. You know,
no chance then.
No, there is a chance. I think Debbie has a chance to get really high scores.
Didn't she do a rumba?
Yeah.
Did she do a rumba, yeah? Yeah,
she's done her rumba.
OK.
And I mean, if she gets to do it again, maybe that will improve. I think that's a good sign, you know. But she was doing some really lovely, lovely work in that. She was wonderful to watch. I mean, incredible, really.
She really is. I mean, let's talk about Flexi McGee. She impressed again. I do believe her exact words were absolutely incredible.
Yeah.
And she contained in her dance, is it called a cross swivel hop?
Oh, this is when she did her Charleston, yeah.
Yes,
cross swivel hop. I can demonstrate that, darling.
Could you?
Want to.
Is it?
Demo time!
Oh! The floor is all yours.
Yes, bring this on. Now,
H.
the difficulty about this dance is that you have to do this with your feet the whole time. The swivel, that's the swivel. The cross element is when the toe crosses in front and behind the foot.
OK.
And what Debbie did was she put a hop in it as well. So she ended up doing that and hopping and swivelling and hopping.
The cross, swivel,
darling,
the cross, swivel, hop. And
that's it. Cross,
is how
hop.
it is done.
Oh, yes.
And in fact, it was Debbie's dance, was it a couple of weeks before, that actually made you take on the spirit of Bruno Tonioli and hurl yourself from your chair, which was joyous.
It was a moment of temporary insanity, darling. It really was. And yes, I did miss the chair. I mean, I was thinking, Bruno, I have worked with this man for 13 years that's annoyed me for 13 years. Then he stands up and sits down, and stands up and sits down. I mean, I know he's very short and he likes to show off his height, but it was just really funny. I had no clue that was actually going to happen.
Oh, you did.
And I really don't know what possessed me, but yes, I did miss the chair. And I thought, I'll go with this because Bruno has actually done that. But the whole thing was a bit of a send-off.
We loved it. We loved it. We want more of it. Please come back and see us soon. We adore you. Craig Horwood. Now, Craig has to look away for this next bit, as it would be